welcome back to a brand new box office prediction video. Turns out last weekend I actually went 4 for 5, not 5 for 5. The estimates versus the actuals will do it to you, but solid 4 out of 5, I'll take it. The thing that I was crazy wrong about though was A Quiet Place, and I'm so happy about it because now it is one of the highest opening weekends for the genre in history. I'm so happy for a great movie that deserves it. It topped the charts with an incredible $50.2 million. Ready Player One had a great weekend as well, taking another $24.6 million and the number 2 spot. Blockers also got off to a strong start at number 3 with $20.6 million. Then Black Panther continues its incredible box office run with $8.7 million, followed by Tyler Perry's Acrimony, which, thanks to those estimates versus actual numbers, wound up stealing my 5 for 5, topping I Can Only Imagine, and taking the number 5 spot with $8.4 million. And now it is on to this weekend's predictions, and at number 5, I have Blockers. So I'm really rooting for this one because I like the movie a lot. I want to see it do well. But it does have the B Cinema score, and the B Cinema score makes me think that it might wind up being in line with Snatched, like I originally thought. They both opened with a similar opening weekend total, and then on top of that, they both have the B, which could mean that Blockers is in for a similar weekend 1 to 2 drop. For Snatched, that meant 59%, which is a pretty high number, but Blockers did receive better critical scores and also better audience scores on services like Rotten Tomatoes, so maybe that means that it has a better chance of holding on. I'm hoping for it, and I think it's going to happen. I have a feeling that Blockers is only dropping 50%. That would give it another $10 million. Moving on to my number 4 now, that is where I have Ready Player One. As I said, Ready Player One had a great second weekend out, and it made me think that my Maze Runner comparison wasn't all that far off. I'm only going to look at it for trend purposes right now because I do think they're going to diverge at this point in their run, because Maze Runner in weekend 2, it wound up bringing its percent change down 13%, which is a lot. And that was against some big competition in the opening weekends of Gone Girl and also Annabelle as well. I don't think Ready Player One is going to be that fortunate, but even if I turn my attention to another comparable movie in G.I. Joe Retaliation, which came out in 2013, that movie in its third weekend out brought that percent change down 1%. So even if just that little bit happens to Ready Player One, it's going to take a 40% hit, and that would still leave it with another $14.5 million. Moving on to my number 3 now, it is Truth or Dare. I actually think Truth or Dare has some solid momentum behind it this weekend. So it is a movie with a catchy core concept. It's got Tyler Posey and Lucy Hale, who do have a significant following, and then on top of that, Blumhouse has had a really solid track record lately. I don't think Truth or Dare is going to come anywhere close to matching Happy Death Day numbers, because when that opened in October, made $26 million, but I do think it's got a very good chance at matching Unfriended, and if that happens, that would leave it with about $16 million for its first weekend out. Now on to number 2. As much as I wanted to see A Quiet Place stay at number 1 a second weekend in a row, it is my number 2 this weekend. We do know that horror movies tend to see pretty steep weekend 1 to 2 drops, but I think A Quiet Place might be able to avoid that. 1, because it had such a big opening. 2, because there's still a lot of buzz behind it. And 3, because it's a great movie. Looking at it, for example, that movie had a huge opening, much bigger than A Quiet Place, but it only dropped 51.3%. No way A Quiet Place is dropping more than that if it, with that massive opening weekend number, managed to achieve that. Instead, I think it's going to come in a little closer to The Conjuring's weekend 2 drop, which happened back in 2013. That movie dipped 47% in weekend 2. If the same exact thing happens to A Quiet Place, it is still making another $27 million, which is crazy to me because that's really close to what I had originally predicted for its first weekend in theaters. Now, though, moving on to that number 1, it is this weekend's big new release, Rampage. We all know that Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle was a massive hit for Dwayne Johnson and for Sony, but I just don't think that Rampage has that same appeal, even though it is a pretty fun movie. Instead, I'm going to compare it to Pacific Rim, which opened with about $37 million. Of course, Pacific Rim had the summer release. Rampage doesn't have that benefit, but Dwayne Johnson could fill that gap. So I'm going right there with $37 million for Rampage. It's opening weekend. It's recap time now. I've got Rampage coming in at number 1 with $37 million. A Quiet Place at number 2 with $27 million. Truth or Dare taking number 3 with $16 million. Ready Player One coming in at number 4 with $14.5 million. And then Blockers rounding out the top 5 with $10 million. Those are my predictions, but now I am tossing it to you. Hit that comment section below. Share your top 5 right there. Also, just a brief tease. If you like playing along with these box office predictions, you're going to want to keep an eye on this channel Monday morning. I have a really cool announcement coming your way. First, though, we got to close out this video with a Patreon shout out. This weekend's shout out goes to Clifford, who I believe is getting his first shout out today. Hey, Clifford. And then also we have Patreon veterans Jason and Dylan. And look at that. Dewey actually came out from behind the computer from his nap position to give this great trio a shout out as well. Guys, thank you again for your support. He thanks you as well, even though he's clearly busy with other things. Thanks to everybody watching this video right now. Please like and share, and I will see you soon with more box office predictions.